How's it going, guys? This is Poetry Set, and welcome back to an episode of the Sweden is Totally Not Overpowered series in EU4. So it's been a few days since last recording session, and it's currently 1:20 a.m., so it is late. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. I do not remember what was going on, so you're going to have to give me a second. Were we about to go to war with Muscovy? No, we have a coalition. That's right. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty sure I was actually just going to, let some stuff be released, some of the, whatever it's called, get rid of some of this aggressive expansion. So, anyways though, yeah, I'm back. I am streaming late, or not streaming, recording late. I'm a little bit tired, and you might be able to tell the quality of commentary might suffer a bit, but I was basically just like, I really want to be able to record right now. There's no reason I couldn't. I have stuff that I want to talk about. I haven't recorded in a few days, so I feel like it's a good idea. I'm actually going to do this. We have plenty of manpower, and we have plenty of... Oh, shiz. That is unfortunate, though, the fact that these guys are all the way up here. But yeah, I was itching to record. No reason I can't. I don't have anything going on tomorrow really until noon or so. So 1:20 is not that late. I'll probably won't record long. I'll probably record 2 or 3 episodes. But I just really wanted to record, and so we're going to. And I have stuff to talk about. So yeah, I don't know. Over the past few days, I've actually been doing more productive stuff than normal. I'm not always the most productive person over the summer if I'm not working, and I haven't been working this summer because I had plans. I was going to try to find a job. Everything I looked into fell through. I didn't get going ahead of time, so completely my fault, by the way. But with that, White Karelia. No, go up here. But with that, with what was I gonna say? With the past couple days, though, I've actually gotten stuff done. So, if you don't know, I've been working over the past year now. I think it's actually been almost a year since I started working on my world, right? On my fantasy world that I've been working on for D&D, but also for other stuff. So I've been working on this world for a while. Again, almost a year now, which for me is a long time. And with that, I actually started out with the intention of using that world for writing, right? I started with the intention of using it for writing. I was like, I don't really care about... At the time, I wasn't even started with D&D as a hobby, and that's what I've been using the world for, but that's not what I started with. At the time, I had figured it was just going to be a world I would make to use for writing. And I worked a lot on that when I first started, and have been working on it pretty steadily since. But when I started doing D&D, after a few months of doing D&D in the main D&D settings that they publish for the current edition of the game, I decided, why don't we do a campaign in my world, right? It gives me an excuse to world build more and feel productive about it, and it's also I feel like I have much more liberty if it's based in my world. Whereas normally I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to break with the lore, so I kind of got to go look this up, and then it might be hard to find. It's like there's whole books about lore for the D&D settings that they already have. So I don't really like that. I'm like, I want to be able to have total liberty. We say, no, actually, it happened like this. This is what happened here. And I really like that. So that's what happened. And since that point, I've been working a lot on world building, right? Making sure that the world actually makes sense and putting things together and getting a lot further than I did originally. And with that, then I got a lot more done. So the area that I had originally wanted to write a story set in, I kind of gave up on that, unfortunately. But that was because I don't think I was really ready. I didn't have the world as built up as I wanted. I kind of hit some roadblocks, which I would not have hit if I were a better writer or a better world builder at the time. I think I've come a long way since then. But essentially I was like, oh, well, I want to write about this dude who's from this one place, but to do that, I have to figure out who the mayor of this town is. And I'm like, I don't want to figure out who the mayor is, right? And I was just basically lazy. And now, after doing D&D, I actually went through, like, willfully and not even without even really having any prompting. I kind of was so into the world building side of things, where I was like, I went through and did every baron and every, like, ruler for the whole, like, kingdom that our D&D campaign is set in, which is actually the same one that I had started writing in and then given up on. So I came a long way in that regard. And don't worry, this story has an end point related to what's been going on with me recently. There's a reason I'm saying it. And we're just sitting here waiting for aggressive expansion to go down anyways. We had some people leave our coalition. Still not going to do anything. We are too far. Give me a sec. Excuse me. So, anyways, so the I hate this. I hate these events, man. Epir Gelders. I wish that these. Here's the thing. I actually don't mind these events too much. It's just that I wish that you could get them as a. Oh crap! I didn't realize they had these ones too. I wish you could get them when you are playing as the Netherlands, because you can't. There's no such thing as getting those. Can I get military access through you, please? What about the Poper Man? No, that's not going to help anyways, so. So anyway, so I've gotten more and more into world building, and that's been really, really fun. And I've been more willing to just take the deep dive into something that I normally wouldn't care about, but it's like, because it's my world, I'm like, oh, you know what, I definitely want to do this, I want to learn about this, I want to figure this out. And so with that, it's sort of, it's made me a better world builder. And so now, this past week, actually the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, you know what, I've fleshed out basically every single town in this whole kingdom. I did a map of the kingdom now, mostly for our D&D campaign, but also for personal use, and it basically has every town, notable town in the whole kingdom. There's like a couple hundred, right? Most of them I don't have anything really fleshed out about them. I can kind of just imagine based on where they are, what they are like, but I at least have their names and stuff. So if I need to, I can make it up and be like, okay, well, this town that is called, and I look it up and I'm like, oh, blank, they have blank nearby, because I look at the map and I'm like, oh, they're near mountains, they have probably some ores and stuff. It makes it a lot easier. And so that kind of got my juices flowing and my creative juices flowing. And whereas before I had sort of been, oh my god, whereas before I'd sort of been like I did not have the mental like energy or willingness to do all that world building stuff. I was like, now I sort of have all that done, the groundwork. So when I was like, you know what, this is a good excuse to do more writing. Because if I need to know about a character or where a character would be from, I can basically just say, look at the map and be like, oh, I think it'd be cool if this person was from here. So that kind of got me thinking, well, why don't I just start writing again? And I was like, well, I don't think that I have the time or the dedication to write like a novel, to write a full long story about a character. That's what I had envisioned myself as doing writing-wise. I've always loved writing, but never been super consistent with it, right? And that's one of the biggest problems for me as a person. I can't hold myself to it. I'm just terrible at it. But okay, cavalry and cannon. So I'm pretty terrible with keeping myself honest, keeping myself consistent. We were gonna do humanist, correct? It was either humanist or diplomatic. Diplomatic is not as urgent. We're focused admin now. Yeah, pretty sure I was gonna do humanist for the promoted cultures and the religious stuff. Yeah, I think humanist is pretty good. So religious unity, is that gonna be useful? Yeah, it will be. I'll take that now. So, anyways, So then recently I was like, you know what, now that I've gotten all this fleshed out, I feel like I could do some writing. It took me a while to figure out like what type of writing I want to do, right? I've always struggled trying to just start writing. What is this? Okay. Caroline absolutism in Sweden. I did not know that. That's kind of cool. So we can get 15 absolutism. Maximum absolutism plus 20. Monthly atomic change minus 0.05. Yo, that is so good. Like, 3 stability is incredible, but permanent, what's it called? Permanent absolutism is amazing. It's already so high, too. Yo, you have to do that, right? I'm doing it, man. Our max is at 110 now. That's crazy. That, if we get to the end, that will be, what's that gonna be, 6.9? So it's like a third of the absolutism is what you take for that. So if you get to 110, we're gonna get like administrative efficiency like 30 or something crazy, like 40, something like that, you know? Foreign core duration, that's not super great. But discipline is all right. If we get to the end of that, it looks like, you know, it'll be discipline plus 4 or 5%. Still, that is really good. And the monthly autonomy change is pretty darn good. Yeah, no, that's certainly all right. That's a great event. Anyways, though, so I realized, I couldn't realize I'm not good at writing single character novels or stories with a main protagonist following one character. And the reason I'm not good at that is because I'm not I'm not good at keeping focus on one type of on one character for so long. I think that's the problem for me. I'm never good at like writing one character because I always get bogged down in the details and the minor parts. I start strong sometimes, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to write this next part, so I'm just gonna put it aside and put it off because it's gonna be boring to write this one chapter. And I'm like, I don't want to write that. I don't want to have to write the boring parts of a book or a novel or a story. And so then I kind of just never write them, and then I never get to the next part, and that's a problem, you know. And that's always been my problems. So I realized, well, why do I have to write about one character? Why not just, and why write the boring parts? Why not just switch to the parts that I want to write? You know, interesting is subjective, right? Maybe they're interesting for me and other people will find them boring as heck to read, but at least do the stuff that I find interesting to read, and there shouldn't be any issue with that. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, why not do that? And so I was like, you know what, I could totally do that. And so that's what I've been sort of focusing on, instead of necessarily thinking, oh, I need to be able to write all the parts to have it make sense chronologically, or write one character from start to end all in one go. I've been sort of taking the philosophy of, why don't I just put down put down a bunch of cool ideas for characters that I think would be cool, and then have that be that. And then, so I did that over the past couple weeks. I have started to take a bunch of these ideas for characters, not, mind you, like not writing anything really, but just coming up with these ideas for characters, being like, okay, I like this idea. And I've been setting them in the same time as my D&D campaign. I've already fleshed out the politics of the area at the time and all this stuff, major events happening, changes happening on a large scale, and so that really makes it easy. I'm like, okay, well, why not do like this and this and this, have all this stuff be going on, and then I already know what's going on in the area. Oh no, didn't we have good air, like a 553? 453 is good too. Okay, I'm fine with that. So then I've been doing that. I've been like, okay, well, just keep we've been fleshing this out, but now we can just keep we already know the time period and everything, just write down characters. And so then I did that. I got a bunch of characters, like 15 characters or so, that I'm like, okay, I like all these characters for different reasons. I think I could write something interesting about some of them at least. And so I essentially have now gotten to the point where finally I've started writing. And so that's why I started, one of the reasons I was like, I can start recording, I have something to talk about. I'm a little happy, a little proud of myself, because I've actually been doing something productive. Normally I haven't been the best with keeping myself honest and being consistent, but over the past like 4 days I've written a couple pages each day, which I think is all you need, you know. Just keep it consistent, write every day, and I think it's really the best thing to do. Not that I'm an expert, obviously, but that's what I've always heard, and that's kind of what I think it makes sense to me, you know. It's just like working out at the gym, right? You gotta keep consistency. And I believe that. And so far, I think it's helped. So anyways, though, but that's been what's going on with me. I've actually finally started to actually do some creative writing. And that has been very fun. And for once, I actually feel like, I know exactly what's going on in this world. I know what this character will feel. And I think that, doing Dungeons & Dragons DMing has really helped with that. Being able to treat someone, a made-up character, like a real person. I think Dungeons & Dragons really helps with that. So yeah, that's been, but that's what I've been up to the past good while. Well, again, only the past few days, but I've been working on brainstorming these characters and stuff longer. And yeah, in any case, it's just been really nice to actually finally be doing something creative, get the juices flowing a little more than normal. But yeah, so I don't know. Eventually, I might try to talk about that more on the channel on its own, but not in one of these videos. But for now, it's not far enough along. I don't know. Well, part of that, but yeah. But my philosophy right now is basically I'm gonna do kind of what I was talking about. Like I'm gonna, instead of thinking that I necessarily need to be focusing on one character, Plotskin Tortapets. Instead of holding myself to it and be like, you have to do this character and cover all the stuff, you're not allowed to just skip around. I can be like, no, totally, just skip around when you need to. Skip to the interesting parts. It allows me to I've been basically liberating my mind and being like, don't worry about explaining everything or having everything covered. Just skip from one part that you want to write about. Me as a writer, it's like, I'm not the best writer. I can't hold myself to stuff like other professional writers can. So I'm like, just write about stuff you want to write about for now. What in the world is this event? Huh. Uh-huh. Vendela Skate? That's a really cool event. It's a very long one, though. I'm going to do that. I like those events, right? Is that from the Women in History pack or whatever? I don't know. I didn't know I had that one enabled. Still, whatever. I do think most of the events in that pack are good, so. Anyways. But yeah, so being able to tell myself, no, don't worry about it. Just write what you want to write. Write the stuff that is interesting for you to write, not necessarily what you think is interesting to read or necessary for a reader to like this. Write what you want to write. So it's and part of the benefit of that is if I'm skipping around, if I have 10 different characters, each of which I'm equally invested in as the writer, then it's I can just, if I get bored of one character, even if it's mid-chapter, I'm I don't know where I want this chapter to go. I'm I don't know how to end it. If I get writer's block, I can basically just be whatever, I'll come back to it. And then go, and instead of having to be I'll come back to it and then leaving it and not writing anything, I can be okay, I can still write though. I can just write for a different character whose events are happening at the same time or unrelated, Basically be okay, let's write about this other thing, or skip forward a few months for this other character because that's when they would be entering the stage, and being relevant. Because I do want my characters to relate to each other, but not all of them, not all the time. So what if I want, I can just be okay, let's write about another character for a bit, one that I'm fresh on and have more ideas about what's going to happen. And when I have more ideas, I'll come back to that one I had writer's block on. No big deal, and finish that up and then move on to the next part. So that's what I kind of like, right? Is that I kind of, by the style of I'm formatting my writing by this time, I think I should be able to keep from getting burned out or keep from being a slacker like I am normally. So anyways, I don't know how many of you are interested in hearing me rant about this at all, but heck, we're mostly dealing with rebels and allowing our manpower to cover, so I don't mind just kind of taking an episode to just talk, and hang out. But yeah, and I feel proud of myself, relatively speaking. It's not like I've accomplished anything much, but I just feel productive, and that's always a nice feeling. So there's a big war going on here between Hungary, Austria, and the Commonwealth, and Brandenburg, and Saxony. Cool, okay. We might actually take this as an opportunity to go to war with people. Or not. We'll see. I probably will. I'll probably go to war with the Commonwealth, if anyone. Or Brandenburg, one of the two, you know. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. So thank you guys for watching. Please go and leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll come back next episode. And see you later. Bye-bye.